Victory of the Daleks is the first story that I've seen where a Dalek is actually very polite. Would you care for some tea? Hello Whovians and welcome to my reviews of Doctor Who Series 5, where I continue with Matt Smith's first series as the Doctor, where today I review the 11th Doctor's first encounter with the Daleks. Victory of the Daleks. This is the third episode of the 5th series of the new series of Doctor Who, and I believe it is the 205th Doctor Who story. So, Victory of the Daleks. Well, as we know, the end of the previous story, The Beast Below, led into this with the Doctor and Amy receiving a phone call from Winston Churchill, where he asked them to come and help him because he has a new secret weapon to win the war. And the plot is as follows. Receiving a call for help from his old friend Winston Churchill, the 11th Doctor and Amy Pond head for World War II to assist the Prime Minister. Once there, though, the Doctor reunites with his greatest enemies, the scum of the universe, the Daleks. But why are these survivors passing themselves off as man-made weapons, and why don't they recognise the Doctor? What could these Ironsides have planned? Okay, so, Victory of the Daleks. Well, I like this story. I don't think it's amazing. I think it's good. It's decent, but it'll do. Much like the previous Matt Smith stories, it just seems to be very thin on the ground. Like, these first few Matt Smith stories, they don't seem to have a huge amount of plot, which is a recurring thing at the moment. I do think it's a big improvement over The Beast Below, though, I will say that. I really enjoyed seeing the Daleks back in this one, and especially the new design of the World War II Dalek. I thought that was pretty cool, with the green camouflage and the little flag on there as well. Yeah, Matt Smith gets to really show us his acting chops in this story. I do happen to think that the performances for this story are very good. This is definitely Matt Smith's best performance so far. Wow, he's really going for it this time. This is the first time we really see his darker side, and it's quite early in his era. This is only his third story, and wow, I actually was kind of scared of the guy when he was bashing the Dalek with the wrench. And he was ranting and shouting at him, and then he kicks it across the room when he says, "I am the Doctor, and you are the Daleks." You really just see the hatred of the Daleks come through once again from the Doctor, and Matt Smith does a good job at displaying that. And of course, in the end, the Daleks actually get away again, and the Doctor can't believe that that's happened again, but at the same time, he's having to confront his oldest enemies one more time. And what's really interesting is that the Daleks have actually created a man called Bracewell, who they've brainwashed into thinking that he created them to assist in the war, which is of course a load of BS. And it turns out the Daleks have their own plans, which I don't really believe were made very clear, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know what exactly the Daleks' plan was in this story. I mean, I don't know if I was paying attention. I tried to pay attention. I was watching the story and I was thinking, what is the Daleks' goal here? What do they want to do? It's just another sort of, end of the world, catastrophe kind of like plot. They just want to destroy the world for reasons. I just felt like there could have been a stronger motivation for the Daleks' plan. It just didn't seem... It seemed like the plot was very thin in regards to what the Daleks actually wanted to do. But like I said, Matt Smith's acting really is top-notch here, and he also has some great comedic moments. I really like the part when he's holding the Jammy Dodger. He's pretending that is the TARDIS self-destruct button. I love that. And yeah, when he faces off with the Daleks, it is pretty cool. And it's nice to see the old gold Daleks back again, but I have to say one of my problems with this story has to be the new design of the Daleks. I'm not really too keen on the Power Ranger Daleks, as I call them, the coloured ones. They just look a bit too... The colours look a bit too bright, a little bit too, I don't know, silly. It does come off as kind of goofy after you've seen the gold Daleks. I personally think they should have just kept the gold Daleks because they looked fine in the first 4 series of the show. Speaking of the acting as well, I also like Karen Gillan as Amy Pond, though she doesn't get to do as much in this story, although she does contribute some things towards the end, and she does help Bracewell sort of get it more in touch with his human side, shall we say. I also like Ian McNeice as Winston Churchill. I mean, he's one of the best cast, how can I put this, sort of historical figures in Doctor Who. Obviously, the Doctor has visited many people like Agatha Christie, Charles Dickens, Queen Victoria, but Winston Churchill, you know, Ian McNeice, this is definitely one of the most iconic ones, and obviously he's actually going to reappear again, and he's actually met the Doctor before, which is kind of strange because the Doctor's only just regenerated, so I'm not sure at which point in time he met Matt Smith's Doctor before, but whatever, I'll go with the flow. The spectacle of the story is really good. I really like the final battle in the aerial assault in space, which is pretty cool, and it's good to see kind of like a Star Wars dogfight, you know, with the Doctor talking to this soldier called Danny Boy, and they're sort of firing at the Dalek Crucible, which is kind of cool. Also, how does Amy not know about the incident with the 27 planets in the sky at the end of Series 4? Unless it's that's going to be explained in the finale, but I don't remember. So, yeah, that didn't make sense, how she doesn't know about that. Seems like one of those Donna things where Donna was kind of, you know, these big things happened and Donna kept missing them. So I wonder if this is the same thing. I'm not quite sure why, but whatever. The Murray Gold score is very good. I really do like the music for this one. And the costume design and the sets look really, really good. It definitely feels like they're in the underground bunkers of World War II. And I feel like they could have like bigged up the stakes a bit more. This does seem like a story that should be higher stakes, but it's not. It feels almost, the way it's directed, kind of underplayed, and I feel like that's the biggest misfortune with the story, is like the Doctor's really angry, he's really against the Daleks, and you think that this is the story that, while they do go dark with Matt Smith, they could have gone even darker, and I think this story could have actually been quite intense if they maybe pitched the story right. I think sort of like it could have gone further. I just think there's a few missed opportunities here. Like, they could have made the Daleks really ruthless, and the Doctor could have been faced with another tough decision about, you know, exterminating them, no pun intended. The pace of the story, it can be a bit slow at times. It does drag in the first sort of few minutes, but the best scene is definitely when Matt Smith is confronting the Dalek, and he's just going nuts. He's whacking it with the wrench, and he's really lost it, and he's losing it. And then in contrast to that really intense scene, you have the scene later when he confronts the Daleks, and it's kind of ridiculous how they look, and he's got the jammy dodger. So maybe there's some tonal whiplash going on in this story. Perhaps maybe the comedy, while some of it's good, perhaps maybe they should have cut down on some of the comedy. I don't know. It feels a bit tonally imbalanced to me. I love the banter between the Winston and the Doctor and Amy, and the fact that he keeps trying to steal the TARDIS key is it's funny, and they are good friends. It's nice to know that Winston Churchill got on with the Doctor as well. I like the character of Bracewell. I do. I think he's a very interesting character. I think actually he's the most emotional character in the story. I think maybe if they could have told the story from his point of view, that would have been interesting. Like how he discovers that he's actually not real. He's like a cyborg. Then he was created by the Daleks to assist them, and to, you know, during the war. And you know, you feel sorry for the guy because he actually has this whole life imagined in his head, which has been kind of, I guess, programmed into him. And then he talks about a woman who he used to love, called Belladonna, and yeah, I mean, Bracewell, you know, I like the guy, and I actually think we should have seen more of him on screen. And yeah, he's a very tragic character. Overall, I think Victory of the Daleks is good. I don't think it's amazing. I enjoyed this story for what it was. It's probably the best Dalek story from Matt Smith's era. I mean, there's only two, I think. There's only this and Asylum of the Daleks, unless you want to count the finale of Series 5. But then there's more than just the Daleks in that, so take it how you will. So in the end, I'll probably give Victory of the Daleks, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It's pretty decent. It's good, but I think it could have been more. They could have gone further with some of the ideas, and I think they could have sorted out some of the tonal inconsistencies. But the script is pretty decent. I just think there should have been higher stakes to this story, and especially as Matt Smith goes quite dark in the story. But anyway, thank you very much all for watching this review. Please leave a comment down below, let me know what you think of this story, and please hit that subscribe button if you would like to see more content. So stay tuned next time when I review The Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone. So until then, I'm Mr. TARDIS11, thank you very much for watching. See you soon, bye for now.